Okay, everybody, welcome to the South African post-match press conference. We have with us head coach Rassie Erasmus and captain Siya Kolisi. We have simultaneous translation, so again, observe the channels for the devices, and please, I'll only take questions when you have a microphone. Okay, I might open up the questions. Rassie, not the results you probably wanted today. Where do you feel you might have lost or won that game?
No, I think they won it. I don't think we lost it. I think, 2 tries to 1. They definitely deserve to win the game. If we concede, I think 11 penalties to 2, you're going to struggle to beat New Zealand. Quite a decide they are. So I think discipline was our biggest downfall, and then obviously them scoring 2 tries and we only won. I don't think we can moan about anything but saying well done to them.
Question here at the front.
Rassie, in those first 20 minutes, guys had front football, forcing them into errors with the rush defence. What do you think went wrong in terms of getting points out of that?
Well, obviously the one kick was against the Poles, and which would have been, I think, 6-0 or 6-3. I'm not sure what exactly. So that was obviously an opportunity. And later in the game, I think when the score was 17-13, those 3 points could have been really vital. But look, no, give all credit to New Zealand for them to, when we had territorial and scoreboard pressure in a way at some stage, when they had that one opportunity to pounce, they pounced, and then the scoreboard pressure reversed, and we had to play a little bit more in our half, and then they just started kicking little topper kicks and pinned us back in our own half, and we struggled to get out of there. So, that shows experience, that shows a world-class team, and we struggled to handle that. So I think it's a combination of them putting pressure on us and us not handling the pressure really well.
Rassie,
hang on.
You saw Rassie.
Hang on. Excuse me, hang on. We're still translating. Okay, thank you.
Rassie, can the Boks fight back from this to win the World Cup?
Yes, I think we can fight back. I think even in the game we fought back. Half-time to be 17-3 down. I've seen South African teams get 50 points when they that amount of points down against New Zealand. So to be down 73 and get back into, I think, 17-13, whatever the case may be, and being in the 22, close to scoring a try, and then just 1 or 2 great turnovers by New Zealand. So I think there were stages where we really fought back well. We got a few then injuries late in the game, and we couldn't get guys like Franstein and those kind of guys onto the field, so it's tough. Peter Steffs also got a knock to his knee, so at the end there was a few guys who I thought could give impact, which we had to hold back a little bit. But surely, if you grouped with New Zealand in a pool, you've got a good chance of not going undefeated through your pool. And then you have to fight back and try and get to the final for the first time in history by not being unbeaten. So we have to go that route now.
Question?
Yeah, Rassie, 2 knock-ons in the first half. Over here.
Yes.
Rassie, 2 knock-ons in the first half, 1 from Dwayne and 1 to Andre that led to tries. How would you have preferred your defense to react to those 2 knock-ons? Are you disappointed in how they reacted in training or in the way you have been training?
Yeah, that's a difficult thing to shut New Zealand down from set play, line-out, scrums, a kicking game. It's I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's easier because you can plan your defense. But most of their tries come from turnovers and from bad kicks. And because when you knock on a ball, you're just not set in defense, and obviously different guys in different positions, and you get a prop next to a lock or a lock next to a center, and they're out of position, and it's always scramble defense, whereas from a set face, guys got certain roles and responsibilities. So that's why sometimes when you play against New Zealand, when you don't have as much ball, you don't give so many turnovers, because that's a bigger source. And if today was a classic example, the few times where we actually played with the ball, those were the 2 times where they actually scored tries. Of course, we weren't organised on defence, so they're just potent with that, and it shows their class. Even with 2 really young wingers, When I say young, they well Super Rugby champions, but they are young in terms of Test match rugby, and they were just unbelievably. They pounced really well, and no, listen, New Zealand deserved to win, even if those tries were from turnovers. They just really were good on the day.
Rassie, if Pool A goes as with the rankings, this puts you on course for a potential quarter-final with Ireland. Given your own connections with Ireland, your coach's connections with Ireland, is that a game you'd relish? And do you think that the fact that you have so many connections with Ireland gives you an advantage if that fixture was to take place?
Yeah, we've got an important game against Italy along the way. I know we've got Canada and Namibia also, but I think the Italy game is a game in the last 2 years we've had a slippery game against Italy, so I must just mention them before we start talking quarterfinals now, because this game definitely put some pressure in us in that specific game. We would have loved to win this game to get some momentum going into quarterfinals. But I tell you, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, it's so many teams that can currently do well on the day. Just if you look at between Wales and England and 2 consecutive weekends, how they smashed one another, and even New Zealand and Australia on 2 consecutive weekends, how the score just changed from 40 points to the one to 40 points to the other one. And again today, I think, I wouldn't say the scoreboard flattered us, but I think here at the end, if New Zealand scored another try, it would have been a good hiding. But there was almost a time in the game where we also could have really made the game really, really close. So there's such small margins where you can get a good hiding or you really can claw it back. So to answer you, I wouldn't prefer Ireland or Scotland. I'm not really sure. Gregor is a great coach. Joe is a great coach. Obviously, I know the Ireland players really well, but they know us as well. So I'm not sure who would have the advantage in that regard.
Siya, just from a player's perspective, how you guys reacted after that second try seemed a bit flat. Were you a bit shocked by the way the All Blacks fought back?
No, we weren't shocked. I think they handled our kicking game very well. Everything that we threw at them, and it looked like they were always ready for everything that we threw at them. And we didn't execute when we had the opportunity. Like Coach said, every time we were attacking, we make a mistake. We thought we were going forward and they'll just take the opportunity. And we know that they're very good of turnovers. But all in all, they really deserved today. They really played well, and I can't fault them in any way.
Rassie, there were suspicions that the All Blacks were a bit vulnerable, that they maybe weren't the team they were 4 years ago. What do you think tonight said about that? And do you think they sent a bit of a message, or do you think that there's still weaknesses there to exploit?
The All Blacks? No, look. I think people must remember I think 4 or 5 in the world. So I don't think we at this stage the benchmark to compare teams with. I think when you get to the likes of England and Wales and Ireland, I think New Zealand will have some stiff competition going through to the final still. There's teams that can handle their kicking game and the specific things they do. They might handle a little bit better than we did on the day. We've played them now 4 times in the last, or 8 times in the last 2 years, or 6 times in the last 2 years, so we know one another fairly well. But they definitely, for me, I think the favourite for the World Cup, and they've always been. We've never had a doubt about that. We just feel we're creeping a little bit closer in challenging them. But they will have different challenges against teams like England, Ireland, Wales, who bring different threats to the party. We bring some physicality. Sometimes they handle our maul pretty well today. They handle our scrum well. They handle our kicking game well. But you play teams like Wales and England, they've got totally different strengths, So by all means, I think New Zealand's the favourites, without a doubt. But they'll have different tactical challenges, I think, against the Northern Hemisphere teams, which will be interesting to see how they handle that. But I think I must stop commenting on them. We've got a hell of a lot to sort out ourselves.
Rassie, to your left. Do you feel, based on then what you've seen tonight, and when you think back to that Wellington test, did the All Blacks hide a few more things from you than maybe you'd initially thought?
No, I don't think so. I think, as I say, the tries were 2-1, and the tries were scored from mistakes we made. I don't think there was. You could clearly see the first 10 minutes what their plan was, how to unravel our defense. Was obviously they kicked 2 up and unders from set phases right under our poles. That was obviously the way to try and unravel our defense to bombs they kick right under our poles, which Cheslin really handled well. Then they had 2 little chip kicks over our defensive line. But then I thought really there were times when we, about 15, 20 minutes into the first half, where we really put them under pressure with our defense system. But I think not the runaway try, but the try which they scored from our mistake, obviously then we have to start playing catch-up rugby against them, and that's when people forget as well, not people forget, but as well as New Zealand attack, they defend as well. And the moment they get scoreboard pressure on you and you have to play in your half in these conditions, they just really make it tough. And then, Aaron and Perenara pinch you back in your half and they pile the pressure onto you. So I don't really think they unraveled our defense. I think they scored from our mistakes, but their team just know how to ramp up the pressure the moment they head on the scoreboard.
Okay, we take a question at the back.
Rassie at the back here. Just your thoughts on the battle at scrum time and the breakdown, how that was officiated and perhaps where you guys went wrong or what calls were made?
Yeah, as I said, I think the penalty count was 11-2, so we did 11 things wrong. So we'll have to go and fix it. And they only did 2 things wrong, which is unbelievably well disciplined by them. So we'll have to really work hard and fix it. If you give 11 penalties away, it's either 40 meters by kick relief to the touch by them, or it's 3 points by Bowden or Richie or whoever kicks for poles for them, or it's a 40-meter gain for a line-out or a scrum or whatever. So we can't afford 11 penalties or 10 penalties and only get 2 for ourselves, So that battle we lost.
No, hang on. Okay, final question here, thank you.
Rassie, is Cheslin Colby injured? Did he pick up an injury tonight?
No, he got cramps. Sorry, I can't see who was asking.
Just over
No,
here.
he just got cramps. We got an injury to Trevor Nyakane, a calf injury, not a knee injury, other calf injury. That's the only injury we really got into the game, and we couldn't get Frans Steyn on because then Cheslin got cramps at the end, and also Peter Steff got some cramps at the end, so we had to keep one guy on the bench for if those guys couldn't complete the game. But that's the only real injury worry is Trevor, which I think it's fairly serious.
But it must be a relief that Cheslin's okay. Obviously, the way he played tonight, he's really unfortunate not to get a try, wasn't he?
Yes, no, I think I think all the guys tried really hard. We played against a world-class team who really played well. Our guys wasn't lack of effort; it was a lack of execution, and that's always, if it's a lack of execution, the finger must normally get pointed back to the coach, because if the effort's there, the coach did something wrong during the work because the effort was there. And Cheslin was definitely one of the guys who put up his hand and said, "Listen, I'm ready to take these guys on," and he was a great example. Thank you. Thanks,
Okay, thank you, everybody. We have New Zealand straight after. Stay where you are. New Zealand not far away. Thank you.
Thank you.